Hello, Mount Rudmore here, and I am back with my do-over BB25 stream. I tried to do one earlier today, and I talked for about 20 minutes before I realized I did not have the sound on. I thought it was on. I always test, but for whatever reason, when I started the stream, it wasn't working. And no one showed up, so yeah, I got a little level thing in the corner that indicates uh, that I'm talking basically, like it's just registering sound. And I realized 20 minutes in, the thing wasn't moving. And yeah. Anyway, um the last proper BB25 stream I did. Um okay, so I was talking about how there had been some talks of possibly flipping the vote to keep Reilly and send Cameron home. But then it was like, nah, it seems like they're coming off this plan. By the time I got that stream uploaded to YouTube, the house had exploded. It was already out of date because these people are cracked, and I love it. So let's just get to it about where things went from here. I'm not picking my nose. I was just rubbing it. I don't even mean to anymore. I talk about this a lot. I literally just do it automatically. At this point, I have a serious problem. Anyway, um, first thing that I wrote down after that last stream was that Corey was the one who initially got the ball rolling to potentially flip it. But now his gut is saying to stick to the plan. We have Sari and Jag finally talking some game. I'm like, finally, Jag, you're branching out a little. And they're talking about a core. There's that word again. I've already talked a lot about how that word is omnipresent this season, and I genuinely believe part of it is the fact that there is a contestant named Corey this season, and that's what's getting them all to core so easily. But yes, Sari and Jag talk about forming a core of the two of them, Blue, Izzy, and Reilly. Jag, not Sari, but Jag is the one to suggest Jared also be involved because he is completely blind to him. I thought maybe, like at some points, I was like, is he trying to screw with Jared a little to get him to trip up because he suspects that he's been the rat in their alliance the whole time? No, he genuinely has no idea. And it's funny and sad at the same time. But yeah, he's completely blind to him, so he suggests to Suri, hey, let's bring in Jared, who I don't realize is your son. Suri says that she can pull in Felicia and Izzy can pull Jared. And then Jag wants the outside circle because there's his tiered, layered alliance idea, which I do still believe was a good idea if one of the people in his structure was not ratting things out to his mother the whole time. But yeah, he proposes his outside circle. Well, he supposes the outside circle should be Jared, Felicia, America, and Matt. And I'm like, there's no way Suri is gonna seriously support this alliance. And he has now outed his strategy, his plan for how he wanted to align with people. See, I kind of feel like maybe Jag's mistake is he's trying to stack them on top of each other when he should just be lining them up. Like, does that make sense? You stack it up, it's a lot more unstable. But you line it up, you keep everything in a decent, stable position, and you might be okay. Granted, I think, again, this might not have worked if Jared was still part of however he decided to structure this, but still, I part of me thinks that that structure might not have worked out in the end anyway. The family style alliance. But yeah, that's how he plays the game, and he has outed that fact directly to Suri. He said before the season that he's going to try to be a secret genius. I don't think he is. I'm sorry, Jag. I love you. You were my guy preseason, and I'm still rooting for you on some level. But, buddy, you are not good at this game. And you're running out of time to get good. Like, even if he were to start getting better, just about everybody's pulled ahead. So Izzy talks to Suri. She says that Jared and Corey are against keeping Reilly. Suri talks to Jared about this, and he says that he wanted Reilly out because she said Suri's and Izzy's names. But he's like, if you're comfortable moving on with her, then I am too. And he says that Corey will be on board. And Suri is willing to let Hisam get blindsided because he's just always on a high horse. And I'm just thinking, yes, exactly. This is a perfectly valid reason to target someone in Big Brother. They're full of themselves and giving you a headache. So they count the votes. So, like, it's the three of us, Corey, Jag, Blue, Matt, Felicia. That's 8 right there. And Izzy suggests telling Bowie as well. But Sari is getting a little uncomfortable having to tell this to so many people. And I'm like, we don't have to tell anyone else. We could just leave it at 8. An 8-4 vote versus any other combination, it doesn't matter. They still have to leave the house, and that's that. I just hit my tooth with the cup. One of my front teeth. That was dumb of me. So Reilly is campaigning to Suri. And at this point, Reilly is doing a lot more campaigning than Cameron has. Like, Cameron, he almost kind of feels like he doesn't really have to too much. And that's another reason I would have been like, you're too comfortable on the block, dude. There's something going on here. If you're this comfortable with being on the block, that means you and the HOH are tighter than you're letting on. And now I want to vote you out to stick it to the HOH, especially since he has been a pretentious jerk for several days now. Anyway, sidetracked myself there. Reilly tells Suri and Izzy that she is solely out for revenge against Hisam. Matt's there too, and he promises them safety. Suri wants it to be unanimous for Reilly to stay. And that honestly is like the one instance I would be like, yes, unanimous vote. Um, yeah, they want to do that because they want Hyson to realize he doesn't have anyone. Izzy tells Reilly to play dumb or it won't work. Probably won't be too hard. I'm sorry. Reilly thanks the three of them for basically throwing her a life vest. Izzy tells Felicia that they're flipping. They want to take Cameron out now. Felicia agrees. Izzy says she and Suri are going to try and get Mimi, the number one holdout, to the same conclusion. And Izzy is just so excited for, as I call them, Triple B, to take Hisam down. And I'm just like, Yes, make this happen. Like a lot of the people who are against this whole thing of blindsiding Hisam, it's like, no, we don't want the professors to turn on each other right now, but like there is already a pretty strong alliance within the professors. And it's Triple B. The bye bye, another word for a female dog. So yeah, Triple B. And it's like this alliance is pretty solid. And, Hisam, he's won 3 competitions in 2 weeks. The first 2 weeks. Do you seriously not even want to entertain the thought of taking this guy out? Just it just doesn't make sense that people are so freaked out about this because there are smart people in this group, people that could win challenges, and one who later does. But I am getting ahead of myself. But yeah, that's where Izzy's at. She wants Triple B to be the ones to take Hisam down. And I'm like, yes, this would be awesome. An actually functional all-female alliance. How about that? Um, Felicia and Izzy talk to Jag. They let him know, listen, we know Hisam wanted something with you, but they are. The gist of the conversation is they're willing to just move forward in the name of blindsiding Hisam. And they tell Jag, you can't say a word about this. And, he's not Reilly, so I'm thinking maybe he'll have a better chance of not saying a word about this. Um, Felicia, Sari, and Corey are talking, and they all agree Red and Bowie should be the pawns next. And I'm thinking Felicia and Sari are just saying this to Corey to, keep him off their scent, try to hide the alliance a little. I think this would be a good move for Corey to make. Those would be good pawns for him to take out Hisam. Felicia and Sari doing that, I don't think it would be so good for them. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they were just saying this to placate Corey and to hide the alliance. Sari and Izzy talk to Mimi, and they're like, Hisam is being too all over the place. He is making deals when he told us not to. He's like, no new alliances from any of you, or else. I'm in charge. And Mimi is just like, we still got to stick to the plan because it doesn't change anything with Reilly. They tell her to at least think about it. And it's like, no, Mimi's not really going to. Mimi is a little stubborn. She wants the smoothest outcome for her game to happen, which, is just kind of just Mimi is not Team Fun Feeds. I'm sorry, she just isn't. America tells Felicia that Hisam seems to be jumping ship and wants to work with her, Jag, Matt, Blue. Jag, Matt, and Blue. Those are 3 names I'm saying a lot in succession to each other. And I was saying them in succession to each other before the season even started because they were my top 3 preseason picks. Uh, anyway, America says that to Felicia, that's who Hisam wants to work with now. I'm thinking, Felicia, tell this to Mimi. Maybe this will be the thing that helps her realize Hisam is not on your side. You're just a tool for him. Mimi tells Izzy that she'll vote to keep Reilly with everyone else, but it's not what she wants. I guess for her, it's like we've almost broken her. We're almost at the point where she'd be, where she's starting to think, I'd be putting myself in a bad spot with my alliance over this, and you know, Mimi doesn't really want that either. Izzy and Mimi think that Jared thinks that this is the wrong decision, the wrong move to make. Sari asks why they're worried about Reilly having 3 people. And that's actually a fair point, because their alliance has more or less topped out at 11. It's 15 people in the house at this point. It's Reilly, Jag, Blue, and Matt. There they are again. It's really the 4 of them against everybody else. Everyone else is more or less working together. Like, Sari in particular is working with all of them. She's got them all in alliances with her. They have some things going on individually. It's 11 against 4. The odds are very heavily in your favor. Sorry. It's just kind of sweaty in here. And it's just kind of hot in here. I'm kind of sweaty. I think you can kind of see it. I'm glistening a little bit. And Izzy also seems to think that Jared thinks that they are not capable of winning anything. Like, their little group. And to be fair, Hisam doesn't really think that much of anybody other than Hisam. Hisam tells Izzy, it's interesting that people are giving Reilly hope. If I heard him say that, and I was in that house, I'd be like, I don't care what happens. I'm voting to keep Reilly because I can't stand you. Like, at the very least, I'd be depriving him of the unanimous vote he clearly wants. And, yeah, he's so insufferable. And everyone's like, you can't get a villain out this early. Like, the best part of a villain is their comeuppance. And if it's someone who's won as many comps as quickly as Hisam has, you gotta do it as soon as you can. I'm sorry, you just do. Everyone's like, it's not a good game move. He's their shield. It's not a good game move to keep someone who's a big threat. I don't know how that became a hot take, but here we are. So Hisam talks to the professors, except for Mimi. Mimi's the only one not there. And much like the last chat he had with them, he's talking about he's telling them what they all want to do. It's like, we are going after Jag and Blue. That's the best move for all of us. And this is exactly what made a few people start pondering flipping in the first place. For all Hisam's talk about how Reilly needs to learn a lesson, he seems incapable of learning anything just by reading the room. He tells them that America mentioned going after Corey. Sari and Izzy know he's lying about that. Sari says that at this point she's 70-30 in favor of keeping Reilly. Izzy says she's 75-25. They agree that they trust Matt more than Cameron at the very least. Matt more than Hisam, sorry. Now, this is where things got a little pear-shaped. Cameron is talking to Suri. He's talking about how Hisam basically threatened Matt about the vote, which is definitely a thing Hisam did a lot. And he gives a look to her. I do not know what this look was. It did not make the show. But whatever this look was, Suri starts second guessing everything. She realizes he's also targeting Hisam. So she's starting to wonder, is it worth it, since Cameron is also just going to do what Reilly would do. And Izzy says that they're now at 50-50. And I'm like, I know a downward trend when I see it. They're going to vote to evict Reilly. The flip is not happening, and we got our hopes up for nothing. Izzy says that, she asks if it's worth it to lose Jag, Blue, and Matt over this vote. And honestly, my perspective, no, it's not. They're so worried about them winning competitions, and now they've put themselves in a position where if one of them were to win HOH, and Hisam were to win the veto, they might start looking at Suri and Izzy a little earlier than they might have before. Like, they could just be like, we had some talks, you made us feel like you were going a certain kind of way, and then you turned on us. So, yeah. I just feel like losing them at this point, after all the work they've done to make this flip happen, I just feel like they've made themselves bigger targets for that trio right there. Suri tells Reilly people are changing their minds, basically because they're afraid of making Hisam mad. And Reilly did make a pretty good point. He's one person, and he can't play HOH. Yeah? Meanwhile, Izzy is telling Jag that they're back to the drawing board, and they're wondering, like, do we need to make Hisam mad about this? Who cares? Yes! Make him mad. Give us a good episode. Because I'm sorry, we have had 7 episodes that have aired on CBS this season, and none of them have been good. 0 for 7. The live episodes are clumsy, and the pre-recorded episodes are silly. And the twist is just too convoluted. It's messing with the flow. It takes the feeds down. So, just give us something. Give us the look on Hisam's face. BB25 so far has been good feeds, but not good TV. That's how I feel. Izzy talks to Corey about being worried they'll fire up Hisam if they flip. Again, let them. Let them be mad. Corey kind of clocks Izzy a little bit here. He just says, 1 minute you're like 100% Reilly has to go, and then 30 minutes and a Suri conversation later, you've changed your mind. And points were made, but Corey, you started this ball rolling, and now you're trying to back out. You have flip-flopped arguably the most. Like, just since you were the start of it, that gives you one earlier leg in this debate. So, yeah. Anyone else would have been absolute perfection. Corey, it's like, I hear you, but you're also a little guilty of this. Um, Now, I said Reilly was campaigning more than Cameron, and I do maintain that from the moment they were nominated to the moment of eviction, from what I saw, Reilly did more campaigning. Problem is, she did very little good campaigning. She just did not do herself too many favors. She doesn't just say, I can be an asset for your game. She's like, me and my three friends, or no, probably. Yeah, she's still under the impression that America and Corey are on her side. She can be like, me and my five friends can benefit your game. Like, you can make the case for yourself, for one person, and you can secretly keep working with them, but you can't really promote yourself as a package deal when nobody wants the whole package. They just, like, her option is to sell herself as an asset in the game, not her entire group. And also, two of your group have already ditched you. And Corey, Jag, and Matt do try to explain this to her, like, just talk yourself up. Stop doing all this group stuff, but didn't really get through too much. And then ultimately, Sari just kind of decides once and for all, we're not flipping. And I'll be honest, it was at this point I didn't take a whole lot of notes. Like, this was sometime on. Was it Tuesday or Wednesday? I don't even remember. Anyway, I kept reading the feeds and seeing what was happening, but I didn't even take too many notes because it was like, what's the difference? It was around this time I knew that it's going to be a unanimous vote to evict Reilly. Like, they are going to. Hisam is going to strong arm Jag, Matt, and Blue into voting her out. He's going to get his unanimous eviction. It's going to be super boring. Was I right? I'll get to that very soon. I did write a few things down. Jag and Blue say that Jared is playing a similar game to Cameron, but better. Blue wants to be the one to take him out, even though they've been flirting quite a bit. Now, taking out Jared, I mean, this is sort of a 6 of one, half dozen of the other, screwed either way kind of thing. If they were to take out Jared, that plugs their leak, but then they're Cerie's only targets. You think if anyone in that house takes out Jared, it doesn't matter who they are. Do you honestly think Cerie is not coming for them next? She will convince everybody to get that person out next. So, yeah. Jag and Blue are just really stuck between a rock and a hard place here. And they've really kind of been in this situation for a while. And I don't know if they can even get out of it at this point. Cerie says that Reilly thinks she has Felicia, Corey, and America, but Cerie thinks it'll just be her core three. Jag, Matt, and Blue. There I go with those names again. But yeah, those are the three votes that she thinks will be in Reilly's favor. I'm like, nope. I think it's going to be 12-0. Or maybe 11-0 if anything becomes relevant after Bowie went to the Nether. I guess I'll just say it. Nothing came of it. Bowie just came back, and that seemed to have been it. Like, no vote was taken away. Nothing wasn't even mentioned again. Which, to be fair, is pretty much on par with everything Bowie related. She doesn't contribute much. She literally disappeared from the house for a while. They showed it on the Wednesday episode, the veto episode. She goes to the Netherlands, and I immediately forgot about her, and then she comes back at the end. I'm like, oh yeah, she left. So that's Bowie for you. Okay, I do have to talk about the Wednesday episode. Um, I talked about it before that it was apparent that there was um some kind of trouble with Matt. He couldn't compete in the competition very well, and the episode hit it. They completely buried it. There was a whole fluff piece that came out about how great a job they're doing accommodating Matt. Meanwhile, the competition is very heavily edited. Even the times at the end. We only get the top 3 times. Like, usually for a timed competition, we see everybody's time. I I was looking around online, like, have they done this before? And as far as I can tell, no. They've never just shown the top 3 before. Which says they were burying Matt's time because he struggled very, very bad in that audio themed competition. And like I knew I'd heard something that it was like a sound related thing, but I saw the picture before the episode even started of him just in a just him wearing headphones standing by a big speaker. I'm like, oh my god, you cannot be serious right now. I've I've heard some theories that like the people planning the challenges and casting, they weren't really in sync with each other. So like the people making the challenges didn't know that there was going to be a deaf contestant, and it's like too late for them to change anything. So I can't help but wonder if they just were praying Matt's name didn't get picked, like his chip didn't come out of the box for the veto competition. Uh, and like when I saw the competition proper and just hearing how how it worked, I literally just said to my dad, "How is Matt going to do this competition?" Like both of us are not loving the severe lack of accommodation Matt seems to have gotten, in spite of all their talks about how they're doing so great with him. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that veto competition and that edit. How they buried they like if they were so proud of how they accommodated Matt in that competition, they would have they would have shown more of it. It wouldn't have been as like I mean, of course it's edited, but you could tell with him they were editing stuff out. The rest of them, like it was pretty straightforward and just something felt off about like the rhythm of Matt's with the way it was edited, and then not even showing his time. It's like no, they probably wanted to accommodate him as best they could, but they are failing. I'm sorry, they're failing. They're failing him. So, um, back to stuff on the feeds. Jared tries to talk to Blue. Well, he tries to ask Blue, how many people have you been with? Like, slept with. And she doesn't want to answer because A, it's none of his business, and B, there are 90 something cameras, 94 cameras, I believe, in the Big Brother house. Like, what if her family's watching? Her family is almost certainly watching. Someone who knows her is watching. And it's like, she doesn't want to talk about that. And he really keeps trying to, like, get it out of her. And it's like, dude, stop. Now I really want Blue to take him out. I was willing to see if anything would become of this because Blue was my number one pick preseason. And I'm like, if she gets in good with Jared, it could boost her spot a little in the house. And she has not been in a good spot from like day 3 onwards. But yeah, Blue postseason, just stay away from him. He was reminding me too much of Monty in that conversation. And he better not keep it up, otherwise he's going to enter Brent territory. And we do get a new alliance. Cirie, Izzy, Jared, and Corey. They call themselves the Crossroads. Because, as far as Corey's concerned, it's people from opposite sides of the house meeting at a crossroads. Sure, Corey. I understand why you think that. So then we get to the eviction episode, and I haven't even been able to contain my thoughts on it. We're at 0 for 7 in terms of good TV episodes. No one is blindsided. The vote is completely unanimous. Hisam gets his way. Reilly knew she was leaving. You could see it on her face. She looked defeated. We've still yet to have a live HOH competition. I know the goodbyes tend to take a while when there's this many people in the house, but they really seem to drag this one out. And, like, at the very least, Reilly could have snubbed Hisam for a hug. Like, that would have been a crumb, but I would have accepted that crumb gladly if she just hugs every single person in that house other than Hisam. Like, that's. I know how this sounds coming from me. Like, I have one viewer. You may not have heard my thoughts in the past about people storming out without saying goodbye to anybody. I generally don't approve of it. And also, I mean, Reilly, I'm not saying she should have just snubbed everybody, but snub just Hisam. Like, that's much more pointed. That's how I feel about it. So yeah, basically nobody seemed to enjoy the first 58 and a half minutes of this episode. And then Julie finally gives the fan base some excitement for this season. It is the return of the most notorious Big Brother competition, the pressure cooker, where you stand in a box and hold a button down for as long as you can. And the only time they've ever done this, it lasted for 14 hours. So people have been clamoring for this competition to come back for years. And I definitely think it has a lot of potential to be exciting with this group. As long as the twist doesn't really screw with it too much. Julie said something about the scary verse is bringing the pressure cooker back. And I'm like, okay, is it going to just have some decorations? Just have like kind of a theme? Or is there going to be some stuff thrown at these people that will in some way negatively affect the challenge itself? Like, I don't want to see this challenge go to a place where people are just like in some way forced off the button. I literally want them to press the button down as long as they can, and then when they can't anymore, that's when they're out. I don't want there to be too much foolishness. I get there'll be a little foolishness because It is a Big Brother challenge, and it's CBS. It's under Paramount, the same uh, corporation that has Nickelodeon. So I'm used to these kinds of these silly things. But just don't screw with the integrity of the game. I'm not saying it better last more than 14 hours. I don't think it will, unless a certain person is still there. But yes, I'm definitely interested to see how it turns out. You know, it is an iconic competition. People have wanted it back for years, and it's definitely a big deal. But that's next week's HOH. What about this week's HOH? Hmm? Who won this one? We got a quick glimpse of it. It's some kind of snot rocket thing or whatever. But apparently it was a crapshoot competition. Just anyone could win. And Felicia. Felicia won! HOH. I shouldn't say that too loud. My dad's here. He doesn't know about that yet. But oh my god. I was just. I had a wave of emotions. The first one, of course, was pride. Oldest female contestant of all time. Only the second contestant over the age of 60. And she won not just HOH, she won the week 3 HOH, which historically is a very important HOH. BB23, Xavier. Granted, I don't think he meant to win it, but he did win the week 3 HOH, and he won the season. Turner won the week 3 HOH last season, and he completely uprooted the game, the power structure. Pulled off the blind side of Amira, formed the majority alliance, and just changed the trajectory of BB24 entirely because that season was about to just fall to complete ruin. And now she's established as a power player. Like Felicia's been killing it in the social game. I know Kirsten left unanimously, but Kirsten was next to Felicia. Felicia worked for all 13 of those votes. Much more than Cameron earned his 12th. And Felicia would never have gone up if she hadn't lost the challenge on night 1. So yeah, I think at this point, between her social game and the fact that she has won a competition this early in the game, I am willing to call Felicia a power player at this point. At least out of this group. Now, those were the good emotions I was feeling. Then came the doubt. Of course, there's always the chance that she could decide to just stay loyal to the professors and therefore Hisam and not blindside him, not take him out. My top 3, Jag, Matt, Blue, they're probably in jeopardy. Like I'd be amazed if only one of them is on the block. Like I'm expecting 2 of those 3. And, you know, I was looking at the wave of excitement going around about her winning, and it reminded me of the wave of excitement after Cliff won HOH in BB21. It's like, yes, the old guy. He won an HOH, and he put up Jack and Jackson. It's like, oh my god, Cliff, you're the man. And then Christy threatened him with her power, the diamond power of veto, and basically hijacked his week. She basically blackmailed him into doing what she wanted without even she blackmailed him into doing what she wanted and letting her keep her power. So that was a flop for sure. I will say Cliff had a pretty clutch veto win later in the season, but his HOH was not good. We got our hopes up for nothing. It's just a good thing it was only Bella that left and not someone people actually cared about. So, the whole thing that I need to hear is I need to hear it from Felicia. Is she going to do it? So Izzy asks Saray if she thinks that Felicia is willing to backdoor Hisam. Saray says she'd better. Well, we know that Saray is at least going to push for it, so that's a good sign. This was a sad moment. Matt goes into the have-not room all by himself, and he breaks down crying. And it's not just because he had a bit of a crush on Reilly. It's because Reilly and Kirsten both seem to have done a better job accommodating him than production has. Honestly, the best thing I can say about Kirsten and Reilly gameplay-wise is that they showed kindness to Matt. And I know he would have voted for them to stay under different circumstances. I mean, I don't know how much of Kirsten was like, I really don't want to do this, but he definitely did not want to vote out Reilly. But there is just sort of the pressure and the hierarchy of the house. He does kind of feel like he's been forced to vote them out, I think. So yeah, I feel like he deserves a moment to cry it out. Serena Izzy, they think that Jag and Cameron are the noms, and to be fair, I may have jumped the gun a little. I may have just assumed the worst, thinking my top 3 preseason picks were the ones most in jeopardy, but yeah. I think Cameron was probably more likely to go up than Blue at the very least. So I think that Jag and Cameron are going to be the likely nominees, and Hisam will be the backdoor target, but if they can't get him, then they're going to get Jag. Jared says that he and Felicia talked that morning about who needs to go, and this caught me off guard. Well, Jag didn't catch me off guard. Hisam, yay, sticking to the plan. Red, and Mimi. And I'm just like, how did we get here? It turns out that Corey made a joke to Sari about Red and America, and possibly himself, I'm not sure, being aligned as the middlemen because they're playing the middle of the house. Sari misheard America as Mimi, and now Mimi is falling out of favor a little. Now, I don't care too much about the professors falling apart because Hisam's a part of it. Triple B, which Mimi is a part of, I kind of didn't want that to fall apart yet. So yeah, um, I'm. I don't think Suri would go for Mimi anytime soon, but I feel like if Mimi were to end up as someone else's target, which I also don't think is very likely, but if that were to happen, I think Suri probably wouldn't fight to keep her too much. Suri and Izzy talk to Felicia, and they suggest that Cameron and Jag should be the initial noms because they don't want to risk another woman going out because it's been the the first 2 proper evictions have been women, and Luke has been removed the from the intro completely. They are completely burying this man, and I love it. So yeah, the first two evictees have been women, but at least they're they're still acknowledged. And yes, they are like, we gotta backdoor Hisam because he's too big of a threat. And Felicia seems receptive to all of that. Then we get a Felicia cam talk, and the cam talks are really where you get a feel of where a person's head is at, because they have no reason to lie to the cameras because the cameras can see everything. Felicia's talking about how she is so proud of herself. She's gonna make the biggest move of the season and backdoor Hisam. Love it. Love all of it. Love everything about it. Felicia has all the ingredients to have the best HOH possibly ever. I mean, I have been watching. I've watched BB17 onwards, and even though BB21 is definitely near the bottom of the seasons I've seen, Jessica's HOH in BB21 is my favorite because it was an underdog seizing power and taking out someone who had way too much power and was just generally a jerk. And just going back to the people who don't want to see Hisam leave. People really want to see Hisam compete in the pressure cooker competition. And I'm like, why? He'll very likely win it. Like, he's the clear front runner for pressure cooker. So why would you want to risk having him around and not making this competition very interesting? I have no doubt in my mind Hisam could probably hold on for a day. So let's get rid of him and go into the pressure cooker challenge not knowing who will win, but not having there be a clear front runner. So it's like just just let it happen, people. Because the last time the oldest female contestant of the season went after a jerk who thought very little of her game and very highly of his own, the last time that happened, we ate so good. And it was Jessica taking out Jack in BB21. If Felicia pulls this off and takes out Hisam, Felicia will officially be my favorite HOH ever. My favorite HOH reign ever. So Felicia tells Corey and Matt that Hisam is her backdoor target. She tells both of them that Cameron is a pawn, but she only tells Corey that Jag is a pawn. She tells Corey that Jag and Cameron are pawns. Wait, hold on. I think I just messed up. As far as Corey is concerned, yeah, okay. Yeah, Corey thinks Jag and Cameron are, well, he knows those are pawns. But yeah, she only tells Matt that Cameron is a pawn. Okay, I think I got that right. I wrote that down in my memo notes a little confusingly. That's my bad. Felicia tells Cameron that he's gonna be a pawn, but she wants him to win the veto. She tells him Hisam is the target, Jag's the backup. Cameron thinks Hisam might find something is a little off if if he's nominated initially. Like, Hisam will be like, why is Cameron on the block? And from here, they start entertaining the thought of nominating Blue instead of Cameron. Speaking of Blue, her timing could not be worse. While this conversation's going on, Blue tells Izzy that Jared has a lot of red flags. And she's right. He does. Problem is, Izzy and Jared have basically become adopted siblings at this point. Izzy just moved into the Fields household. So, even though Blue is 100% right that Jared is full of red flags, her chance of leaving this week just skyrocketed. Because I think I missed this note earlier, but Sari and Izzy, while they were talking to Felicia, they're like, we don't want another woman to leave. Wait, no, I think I did talk about that. Anyway, so I was thinking Blue was probably in the clear for the week, and I'm just like, yay, my number one draft pick is getting slightly more of a chance to better herself in the game. But if Izzy decides to share this information, then Blue might be in trouble. Felicia tells Hisam that she is putting up Jag and Cameron. Jag's a target. Hisam suggests Matt instead of Cameron because Matt and Jag are really close because they have the disability thing. I didn't love that word choice there, Hisam. And what he means is Jag has been a coach for the Special Olympics. But yeah, his wording was not great. I didn't love it. And he says, "We're all behind you no matter what." And I'm like, I can think of one exception where you might not be behind her. Hisam talks to Izzy, and he's like, "Oh, I feel great. I can just relax for the week. Everything's fine. I feel good. I'm happy for Felicia." Izzy just like, she's playing along. And just hearing him say stuff like this, he says a lot of stuff like this, just talking about how great he feels, how happy he is. It's like when you're watching security camera footage of a person walking while texting, and they have no idea that they're about to walk into a fountain. That's what Hisam is. He's walking while texting, doesn't know he's about to walk into a fountain. And I love it. I love it. Everyone's like, it's gonna be boring if Hisam leaves. Like, no, it's not. It's gonna be fine because this is a really interesting cast. And also, it is going to be delicious if this plan goes through. Um, Felicia suggests a new alliance to Sari. The two of them, Izzy, Jared, Matt, Jag, Blue. And I hear this alliance and I'm thinking to myself, let me get this straight. You're proposing an alliance that would put the four most well positioned people in the house with my top three preseason picks? Is this an alliance I want to be real? Of course it is. I would love this alliance. Admittedly, I don't love Jared right now. I do kind of wish that it was Corey instead of Jared, but in Felicia's eyes, Felicia's like, I go with Suri, and Izzy goes with Suri, and Jared goes with Izzy and Suri. So I guess she figured, can't leave him out. But this alliance, if it were to become the actual power alliance in the house, then I would feel so much better about my top three preseason picks. Like they need something. Jag in particular is without a doubt the most vulnerable of the three. Like Jag, I know I said Mimi was stubborn earlier, but Jag's also a little stubborn. Like maybe not as vocally stubborn, but Mimi is just like she is very obvious with her stubbornness. She'll just go into the storage room and just walk around in a circle talking about how everyone's stupider than her. Jag, it's a little more. He's just like, no, 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 this will work. I got to do this thing that hasn't worked for me yet, but it's gonna work. I believe. And it just hasn't yet. So yeah, I'm like, I don't know if anything's gonna come of this alliance, but it'd be nice. Fees go down. They come back as expected. Cameron and Jag are the nominees. They're both certain that they aren't the target. I'm like, okay, Felicia, you've done a good job with both of them. And Jack's talking to Blue, and he confirms that Felicia did, in fact, offer him that aforementioned alliance. And I'm like, okay, so Jack seems to think it's real. Here's the thing. I feel like the if Felicia's closer allies in this group were to win power, I don't know how serious they would be about honoring it. I do think if Matt Jagger Blue were to win power and keep them all safe, and like if they actually win power and prove themselves to this group, I think it might possibly become real. Possibly. I'm not saying it will because never say something will happen in Pick Brother because last season proved you never can tell. Like even I was saying, there's no way Taylor can win this season, and she won the season. So, yeah. My streams are not about predicting what's going to happen. It's talking about It's talking about like what their plans are, what I think of these plans, how I think things could go, but with a giant asterisk that it's Big Brother and things happen. Um, the last note I took is that Red is feeling kind of blindsided by this because he and Cameron are really close because they're both the the good old boys, the country boys. Cameron's from Georgia, Red's from Tennessee. So yeah, Red's just like, you could have told me. I didn't want to feel this blindsided by it. And Cameron tells him that Hisam is the target. And I'm just thinking, Red, I want you to do what you have done for about 95% of this season so far and stay quiet. Please, just go along with this. I saw the look on his face in that professor's meeting. He also didn't seem to love the way that Hisam was talking over everybody, including him at one point. So it's like, yeah, come on, Red. Let it happen. Don't let him know. And this is the part where I check online to see if anything is happening. I feel like with the nominations just being revealed, I feel like I might actually have some updates to react to right now. All right, well, there's nothing on my timeline, and surely some of Some of my people, some of my regulars, you know, Taryn, Sharon. I just realized my two most trusted BB sources that aren't BB contestants. Their names rhyme. Taryn and Sharon. Well, they haven't said anything yet, so that tells me that maybe nothing too insane has gone wrong yet. But now it's time to check Big Brother Daily. Oh wow. The last update is the last update I saw, just Red saying, Cameron is my boy, but Professor's first. And as he's like, Professors are first. Yeah, that's it. Alright, now to check the hashtag. Whoa. Well, someone just found a video of Hisam doing his burlesque thing, and he's wearing nothing but a banana hammock and wings. He he looks like burlesque bird person from Rick and Morty. I can't believe I just made a Rick and Morty reference. I hate that show now. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, this was another thing. Hisam said he doesn't want to be picked for the veto this week. He just wants to relax. Well, that kind of goes into what I was saying earlier. Just how comfortable he feels, and it's like, you know, la 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 la. Oh, fountain. I want to see it happen. I'm sorry. It has to. We have yet to have a good episode on TV. But to be fair, last season it didn't really get good until week 3. So that is why I haven't given up yet. And also, for my dad is a casual. He doesn't keep up with the feeds. He doesn't even watch my videos. Gee, thanks, Dad. Anyway, oh, nah, I don't mind. I know these go on for a while. He's got stuff to do, but he does watch the episodes. I do fill them in where I can, like if some stuff isn't quite adding up, or if I think there's something really important being left out, I'll fill them in. And he's able to, you know, he's able to enjoy it for the most part, except for this season. He, I don't think he's enjoyed a single episode yet. I mean, I haven't, but yeah, it's just the whole thing. It's like they're losing the casuals now. Like my dad finally got into the show once he realized, I do kind of like seeing this kind of strategy and being cutthroat with each other. So yeah, I'm. I still can't believe he got into the show, but I'm very happy that he is. I love talking about the show with him. I just hope he sticks around. And he said that someone needs to start showing some cojones going forward. Like show some initiative to really spice things up. And considering Felicia literally got an entire spice rack in her HOH basket, there's no time like the present to spice it up. My dad literally said, I'm going to have to really think about if I want to continue if we get another lousy week. Because that's really what it's all been, ultimately. 2 weeks of really entertaining feeds, but complete anticlimaxes. I mean, person, it was kind of expected, but I don't know. With Reilly, they really gave you some hope that maybe something truly incredible would happen. But then it didn't. So yeah, my dad has basically put the show on notice a little bit. But I am cautiously optimistic that Felicia really wants to follow through with this plan. course, there is always the question of will Hisam win the veto? And I don't know if my dad would stop watching if Felicia were like willing to take the shot at Hisam, but then he won the veto and couldn't. I don't know if he'd still be. I I feel like he'd probably still be willing to at least give it a little while longer. Like, give it at least another week. But yeah, I I don't want to see. I don't want to see her chicken out of it. I don't want to see anyone chicken out of it in the vote. I mean, I do believe if he sits on the block on eviction night, I do think they'll vote him out. Well, we'll know on Monday if Felicia will earn herself the title of best HOH that I have ever seen. I get there's a lot of people from the good old days that would probably say something like Janelle winning the week after Pressure Cooker that season because it came down to Kaser and some other lady in the Pressure Cooker. He made a deal with her that she wouldn't go for him, so he let her win, took his hand off the button, and then she took him out anyway. And then Janelle, Kaser's best friend in the house, won the next HOH and took her right out, sent her right out behind Kaser. So I know that's probably what a lot of people would pick as their favorite HOH, and I get it for sure. But I didn't see it, so I'm going through my own lens here. I do think Felicia is on the precipice of BB icon. Is there anything else? I think that's about it. And that's fine. I've been going for an hour and 13 minutes at this point. I'm ready to call it here. This stream definitely went a lot better than my last one. I've been keeping my eye on the level the whole time. As far as I know, I've been talking this whole time, and it's been recorded. But that is going to do it for me right now. Um, thank you to my one viewer for watching. You can, if you watch this on YouTube later, thank you. Um, follow me on Twitter. Well, for a little while longer. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to stick around if the block button goes away. Do you know how many people in the Big Brother fandom I've had to block? Like, for my own sanity? Imagine a world where I can no longer keep Smelvis blocked. Or worse yet, imagine a world where Taylor can no longer keep Smelvis blocked. But yes, for the time being, until the block button goes away, find me on Twitter at NickGrimesYT, where I have links to this, my Twitch channel, and also to my YouTube channel. This, my YouTube channel, if you're watching it on YouTube. And, follow me there for all my thoughts on BB stuff as it happens. Sometimes you get a sneak peek of things I say in this video. Sometimes I tweet something and I'm like, ooh, I like that one. I'm going to include it. Okay. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Peace out.